As I start, I want to talk about the importance of ethics and the golden rule. And Carolyn and Nick have spoke to you about the importance of us all following the rules. And in today, more than ever, our society and consumers are demanding that we are ethical in what we do. If you look at the scandals of a lot of the corporations that recently have taken place with Enron and a lot of the other companies that have really cost a lot of the people in the general public a lot of money, and look at the people that were put out of jobs. People today more than ever want us to be trustworthy, caring, and make sure that we operate with integrity. And I'd like to go into Article 16, which as realtors, it's the one that's near and dear to our hearts because it's the one that I believe offers us the most protection. Article 16 states, realtors shall not engage in any practice or take any action inconsistent with the agency or other exclusive relationship recognized by law that other realtors have with clients. Simply stated, realtors respect the exclusive professional relationship that other realtors have with their clients, including sellers, buyers, landlords, and tenants. Article 16 has 20 standards of practice. It's a really large one, and there's a lot of protectionism there for each one of us. When an exclusive relationship is created, the competition shifts to the search for buyers or to otherwise fulfill the agreement. At this point, Article 16 comes into play. Once clients have selected a particular broker to serve their interests, the competition that prevailed earlier ceases and cooperation takes its place. Realtors must carefully avoid taking any action inconsistent with the exclusive relationship between the seller and the listing broker and avoid any action that could be construed to induce a breach of the contractual agreement made with the client. So when we're out there taking listings today, we are all looking for that protection. You know, we work very hard in our business practices to get people to list their homes, to get buyers to sign exclusive buyer agency agreements with us. And so we know once we have that done that we can put a lot of our efforts forth for our client. And it's really important that we all respect each other's relationships. 16.1 states aggressive, innovative marketing practices are not inherently unethical, but any business practice must comply with the other requirements imposed by the code. And 16.2 states that we are not precluded as realtors from making general announcements to prospective prospects describing their services and the terms of their availability, even though some recipients may have entered into agency relationships with another realtor. An example of this would be Realtor A is getting into the real estate business, and as they're new to the business, they decide they want to farm their area. So they go ahead and they go into public record and they do up a mailing into their general area. Well, Realtor B has a listing in that area, and their customer receives this general mailing. This is not a violation of the code because they selected a geographical area. However, if they had targeted the MLS, they had gone into active listings and mailed to the active listers, that would have been a violation of the code. A disclaimer that reads, if you are currently listed, this is not intended to be a solicitation. It's not necessary anymore to comply with the code, but it can help ensure less confusion. Article 16 also acknowledges the right of property owners whose properties are listed exclusively to contact other realtors if they are not satisfied with the listing broker's performance. Oftentimes, we go out and we take that listing. Sometimes you maybe just forget about it after you get it. You've got it in the bank and you think it's going to sell. And so therefore that seller feels pretty much abandoned. And so they go ahead and they call another realtor. And quite frankly, a lot of times agents in my office that are newer to the business will say, I got a call, I don't know what to do. This seller called, they're currently listed with XYZ Realty, and they want to list with me. They want me to come over and talk to them about listing their property. Well, of course, they're allowed to go over and talk to them about listing the property, provided that they look at the listing sheet and they take the listing at the date after the listing has expired. But of course, that's with the seller calling them and asking them to come over. So be very careful, what you do, that you don't violate anybody's exclusive agreement, but that you also, the seller does have the right to choose what they want to do. A good practice is to see a copy of this agreement so that you are not making them responsible for two commissions. Expireds are fair game. You can contact expired listings, and as long as they have not relisted or listed with another company, go for it. If they say they have relisted or listed, do not proceed any further. Get off the phone as soon as possible. Now, of course, with the do not call list that's in place, and let's face it, probably every one of you signed up for it, it's limiting us on our availabilities to call even expired listings. If you work withdrawn listings, be careful how you proceed. Some listings are withdrawn, as Carolyn had said earlier. Some are conditional, some are unconditional. If it's a conditional withdrawal, you want to make sure that you look at the withdrawal agreement, because you do not want to have the seller become obligated to pay 2 commissions. Actions inconsistent with exclusive relationships of the listing broker can occur when a realtor provides unauthorized information to a prospective purchaser or tenant, or it can occur when a cooperating broker fails to obtain permission to show the property from the listing broker but contacts the owner directly, or it can occur when a cooperating broker takes an offer directly to the client without the knowledge and consent of the listing broker. And this happens sometimes when, you've got your buyer, and let's face it, when you've worked for a long time with your buyer and they really love this particular piece of property, and you in your zest and zeal to take care of your buyer, you think, well, shoot, if I take it through that listing broker, my buyer may not get all the conditions that they want in here. They want particular things for themselves. So if I go directly to the seller, I can maybe get the seller to take this offer. And of course, that would be a violation of the Code of Ethics, because you have to work through the other realtor, the listing realtor. It can occur when a cooperating broker uses the showing of the property as an opportunity to make unsolicited derogatory remarks about the listing broker that are untrue. And we definitely want to make sure we don't do that. Realtors are obligated to respect the agency or other exclusive relationship recognized by law or other realtors, and to work through them as long as the exclusive relationships remain in effect. Today, like I said, more than ever, consumers really want us to be ethical. They want us to work off of a higher standard. And if there's one thing that we all think about today, it is the golden rule. Professionalism, integrity, and courtesy require it. Buyers, tenants, landlords, and sellers benefit from it. Be sure to remember, obtain the client's consent before placing signs for sale, rent, lease on a property. The owner has the permission to tell you whether they want that sign. Sometimes, sellers want to be secret. They don't want everybody to know their house is for sale. Prior to or after terminating your relationships with your current firm, do not induce clients of that firm to cancel exclusive contractual agreements between the client and the firm. Sometimes, I know myself, I've had agents come to me when they were leaving the company, and they said the broker where they're going to go to work told them, they brought withdrawals to me that they had the seller sign, because the other realtor said that I would let them withdraw and they could go get the sellers to sign these withdrawals. And I would say to them, you might want to question where you're going to work, because that is a violation of the Code of Ethics. I will not do anything to you for that as long as you do not contact the customer anymore. And I think that in today's world, sometimes people get a little bit confused, and the contract is there and enforced with the current broker. So be careful on that one. Avoid inviting cooperation by a third broker without the consent of the listing broker. While an unintentional contact with another realtor's client is not unethical, subsequent contacts prior to the expiration of the other realtor's listing can be unethical. Don't put your interest in a brokerage commission ahead of your professional responsibilities to your client, even if the sale is made to a customer to whom you have shown the property but were unable to negotiate a sale. And we know this quite often happens. We're out showing people properties. We actually show them our listing. Somehow we know when it's our listing, when an offer comes into us on our own listing, that we showed that customer. But, all in all, your job is to take care of your client first. You can always arbitrate later for the commission. Make sure your client gets their home sold first. Be aware that general advertisements by other realtors do not violate the exclusive relationships of the listing broker when not directed towards the owner of the particular property listed. In 2004, there are some changes that everyone needs to review that change the words client to prospect and most of the standards of practice. So we want you to be aware and be familiar with those. Article 16 protects our exclusive relationships. Be careful that you adhere to them. A good question. Do you have an exclusive agreement with another realtor? If yes, you need to honor the relationship.